At that moment, Misaki was furious. Her former followers were now afraid of her and no longer dared to associate with her. One girl remarked that everyone who had been close to Misaki had ended up dead, which made it hard not to suspect that the killer might be connected to her. Misaki grew even angrier after hearing that. But soon, she came up with an idea. She invited everyone to stay together at her family's remote villa for a while. With strength in numbers, she claimed, they wouldn't have to fear the serial killer. She deliberately made a show of insisting that Akira must come to the villa. Akira agreed. Seeing that Akira, who had the worst relationship with Misaki, was going, the others hesitated at first, but eventually agreed as well.
Wow! If Megumi goes, why don't we go too?
Since everyone's on board, we'll set off tonight. Trust me, you will all be safe.
That evening, the group set off for Suzuki's villa. After a long drive, they finally arrived. Suzuki wore a confident, triumphant expression, determined to prove she had nothing to do with the killer and to win back the admiration of the others. As the lights flickered on, a corpse lay on the floor. Suzuki stared at it in shock. It was her family's housekeeper. Panic spread through the group instantly. Someone shouted to call the police, only to discover that the network had been cut off.
Misaki Suzuki, what do you mean by this? Could it be that the murderer is in your home, and you deliberately brought us here to let him take us all out?
That makes sense. I was wondering why all her friends died, but she's still alive and well. Turns out she's the mastermind behind it all.
Everyone grew furious, and one of the boys lost control. He charged at Misaki and punched her to the ground. It was likely the first time in Misaki's life that she had ever been hit. She screamed and cursed the boy hysterically, but he only hit her harder. The others, convinced this was all part of Misaki's carefully orchestrated scheme, didn't step in to stop him. Just then, another piercing scream rang out. Everyone jumped in fear once more. The sharp metallic scent of blood filled the air. Someone had died. Enraged by the sight, the boy resumed beating Suzuki. Suddenly, the sound of a blade slicing through the air rang out. He collapsed to the floor. Akira stood beside his body, gazing down coldly at the corpse. Just as Suzuki was about to thank Akira for saving her, he suddenly kicked her to the ground. A chilling voice echoed through the room, accompanied by Akira's cold, twisted laugh.
With such deftness and this familiar method of killing, I've finally found you, Miss Killer.
Suddenly, the owner of that eerie voice began a ruthless slaughter. Everyone in the villa had been killed. Akira stood calmly, watching as a man emerged from the shadows. He asked the man what exactly he was trying to do. The man burst into laughter and told Akira to take a closer look at the way each of the victims had died. Akira stared at the countless corpses around him and suddenly realized that the way they had been killed was exactly like his own methods. The man had been imitating him. The man burst into manic laughter again and introduced himself as Hinata Haru. He said he had thoroughly investigated the people Akira had killed and realized they were all terrible individuals. He declared that he wanted to join Akira, to purge the world of evil together. However, Akira replied coldly that he killed those people simply because he couldn't stand them. He had no grand vision of purging the world of evil. Hinata didn't believe him at all. He questioned why Akira had saved Misaki earlier while she was being beaten. According to his investigation, Misaki had regularly bullied Megumi at school. Akira stated flatly that he couldn't let Suzuki get away so easily. Her life was in his hands, and only he would decide her fate. Just then, the sound of police sirens pierced the air. Without hesitation, Akira leapt out the window and fled, with Hinata following close behind. Akira dashed into the depths of the forest, his figure quickly swallowed by the trees. Hinata let out a sigh, deciding he wanted no part in this mess anymore, and ran in the opposite direction. Meanwhile, Officer Watanabe had lost track of Megumi and was growing frustrated. When suddenly, Megumi jumped down from a tree, startling him out of his wits.
Kawashima Megumi.
Don't call me that. It's my sister's name. You don't deserve to say this name.
Akira shouted angrily that he wasn't Megumi. He was her brother, but Watanabe stared at him in confusion and asked what nonsense he was talking about.
These people died so tragically because of you, and you feel no remorse?
Remorse? If you had been trampled, humiliated, and tortured to despair by those people like my sister was, would you still ask such a question?
Suddenly, Akira lunged forward, thrusting the knife in his hand toward Watanabe. He let out a cry of pain and collapsed to the ground.
In light of the fact that you're not a bad person, I won't kill you. But do you really think the law will deliver justice for people like you?
You can't escape forever. One day the truth will drag you down into the abyss.